And a happy snowy Monday, everybody. Welcome in. Chase and Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Chase McKay, Big Joe Dubin, Dr. Crane, Nick Frazier with you here on this Martin Luther King Day. Hope you're having a fantastic day so far. And I think a lot of you have elected to stay in. I hope you have. The roads, not great, not, I guess, awful in some places, but I've been watching news coverage all morning, and Joe, I know you've kind of ventured out. I will admit I'm not. I've kind of played chicken here, but that's okay. At least I admit it. But what's up?
That's fine. You know, I had to. I got the paper route. I deliver for The Athletic every morning, so I was out this morning.
Nice. I thought it was the Unathletic.
And I do both. And so paper route, it was a little, the roads were okay. But the problem is, as we all know this, in Nashville, it's not so much the roads as it is the other drivers. So if we can avoid, it's like pretty much in my life, you can avoid people and avoid drivers, you're doing fine. But then you get on the road and then a lot of people don't know how to drive. That's the problem. But if you don't have to get out, you can. I came down Donaldson Pike to Murfreesboro Road, and it was one lane. It was still slushy, little icy. Just don't go out if you don't have to.
And look, full disclosure, I'm not great at it, and my car is not great at it. Like I was just telling Dr. Crane, I have a Nissan Altima. It does not handle well.
When did you upgrade from your Ford Festiva? I didn't know this.
Well, remember the birthday party we had a few years ago?
Yeah.
Everybody gave me a bunch of gift cards. I put those on eBay and was able to make enough money to put a down payment.
Look at you. I'm proud of you, man.
Yeah. No.
Well
so
done.
it doesn't handle well, and I don't do well. Somebody reminded me one time of I couldn't make it up a mountain over a little patch of snow. So it's okay.
Who else doesn't handle things well?
Mike Vrabel, Amy Adams Strunk,
Jerry Jones.
Oh, Jerry Jones.
Have you ever seen a more depressed owner than you saw last night after that? I don't think I ever have, and I'm not kidding you.
No, but do you blame him? Do you blame him for being? They were the number two seed going up against the number 7 seed, and you have an MVP candidate at quarterback, and they got shellacked at home. So wouldn't you be depressed if you were Jerry Jones?
Yeah, but in the back of your mind, you're a Cowboy fan. You kind of expected this, right?
Oh yeah,
a little bit.
I really did try to make myself think that they were going to win, but I knew they're going to find a way to screw this up, and that's exactly what they did. And good for Green Bay. Whether they have found the next guy and they're going to have 3 straight Hall of Famers at quarterback. It's very, very early. But, Jordan Love has had a great season. He got his team to the playoffs. That win, I don't know if you saw this, so he had a clause in his contract. If he won a playoff game, he got an extra $500,000. So
Jordan Love did?
Yeah.
Oh,
so how about that?
Okay. Well, he earned it. Good Lord.
What was so funny, though, is this was the matchup of 2 coaches that, I think LaFleur really needed this because everybody has said, oh, well, the only reason he's been successful is because he had Aaron Rodgers. Well, now he doesn't, and so it's how good of a head coach is he really?
Right.
Well, okay, he shut a few people up with that. And then McCarthy obviously needed it because everybody now thinks he's going to get fired because they lost the game. And quite honestly, if he does get fired – I don't blame Jerry Jones, and I wouldn't be surprised. I think the only way he gets fired, because Jerry is very, unlike here, Jerry's going to think this through and go, okay, can I get better than what I have right now? And I think better than what he has right now would probably be Belichick.
Yeah, I absolutely would. So that's all everybody's talking about, all the big heads. And so if you put them in there, but you just can't. I read the graphic, 0 NFC championship games since their last one in the 1995 season. So you're going almost 30 years now, and still the most popular football team around. And a lot of people, just social media was fun watching this meltdown of the Cowboys yesterday, just go on and on and on. But good for the Packers. Look, they went and won the game and moved on. Now they play the 49ers on Saturday night, I think it is. So it was fun. The wild card weekend, what is as crazy as it usually is, But it was still a lot of fun. I mean, watching the Texans just dismantle the Browns was great. And then last night's game was fun, though. The Lions and the Rams, that was a good game because you thought the Rams were going to come back and knock him out. But they didn't. Lions win. Now they'll host another playoff game next week.
Yeah, that game last that have gone through what they've went through until I watched that last night. And, you think about an atmosphere that would have been fun to be in. It would have been fun to be at Ford Field last night watching that because, not only is your team winning a playoff game for the first time since 1992, is that when it was?
91.
91, but you're having to beat just a beloved hero that, he's still loved there. Like when Matthew Stafford hit the field, you would have thought he was still playing for the Lions. And it's like, so all the emotion involved in that was just really cool to watch unfold on national television. And the Rams gave Detroit a game. They battled back. They were in position to potentially win the game, but Detroit able to do enough and win it by 1 point, and now they advance. So.
By the way, when did Eminem morph into Ryan Day?
He does look like Ryan
I was
Day.
like, is that Ryan Day? What's he doing in the pregame show? And I was like, oh, okay. And it was funny. Mike Tirico was like, well, that's Detroit native Marshall Mathers. I just call him Eminem. Like everybody, just don't be cool, Mike. And I like Mike Tirico.
Yeah, and I guess he's from around there too.
Eminem or Tirico?
Yeah.
Yeah, remember we had him on the show years ago and he wouldn't shut up? We had him do an interview with us and he wouldn't shut up.
He's actually a fun interview.
It was great. But he wouldn't, I remember we were like, all right, man. He's like, oh, time for me to go? We're like, well, not really. It was like a 22-minute interview.
Yeah.
But it was years ago. But no, it was fine. And so now you got the game today. By the way, postponing the Buffalo game and not postponing the Chiefs game, I mean, whatever. I mean, you can't be 50-50. Let the games just play. And
I don't think they physically could have played the Buffalo game.
Being soft again. Play the game.
Being soft. Like, did you not see the stadium?
Who cares? That's a football game. Advantage Bills.
So you want guys playing in the snow up to their butts?
Love it. They played the damn Fog Bowl. You couldn't see anything back in 1988 when the Eagles and Bears played.
Look,
I
want to see a snow game just like anybody else, but I get it.
And then Robert Griffin coming out, I'm beginning to really dislike him. He's like, they should change the Chiefs. Well, good. They should change the Chiefs game. And I'm like, quit being soft. Just play the game as it is and go from there.
Have you seen the Bills Stadium, Joe? Have you seen it lately on Twitter?
What?
The Bills Stadium?
Yeah, it's Buffalo in January.
Yeah,
it's expected.
That's like 2-3 feet of snow on the field.
Oh, it's fine. Play football.
That's up to my kneecaps.
What happened to us?
Dude,
what happened to us? Go
play
football.
Nothing happened to us. It's the fact that, you can't really run there.
Even back in your day, like you're sounding right now, like Old Man Rex Road, I mean, they wouldn't have played in 3 feet of snow.
Yeah, they've played in a lot worse conditions than that. I'm sure at some point in pro football they have. I mean, just let them play. We would be talking about that game nonstop. We would all be watching. It'd be so much fun if that would have happened.
I don't think it's going to be too much better this afternoon when it's on.
Good. We're going to postpone it to Wednesday when the sun comes out and it might hit 5 degrees.
I don't know.
Just let them play the game.
Answer this simple question, Joe. You ready for this?
Yeah.
The Patriots versus the Bills. It was a Monday night game. Do you remember that game? It was very windy. Kickers couldn't kick nothing. It was like last season or 2 seasons ago.
That's a playoff game?
No, it was not a playoff game.
Okay.
It was a regular season. It was final score was 10-3. I have to double check on it. It was super low.
Is that the one the Patriots didn't throw a single pass?
Yes.
They ran the entire game.
Yes.
They threw one pass, I think.
Did you enjoy that game? If
Loved
you watched it, you loved it.
I love football.
I mean, so do I. I love running the football as well. It's a great thing, but come on. You really want to see all that snow and nothing? There's going to be 0 field goals in that game.
Who cares? I'd love it. I would love to watch that. That'd be so much fun to see that.
It is different. You are correct.
It would be really oh, man, you see that? I couldn't see the TV. I mean, it would be so much fun to enjoy that and say, look, it's Buffalo in January. That's what's happening.
Right. What did you think about the Kansas City, the game the other night, but also Patrick Mahomes, his helmet just shattering?
That's
on a hit. That's scary.
That is scary. Yeah. I've never seen that happen before. I mean, I've never seen – you've seen like a face mask come off because a screw popped out or something, but to see a large chunk in the front of your helmet come out, that's not good. I mean, that should be talked about quite a bit about safety going forward because are all helmets that way? I mean, if you're a linebacker and you're cracking skull the entire game, look at your helmet differently now. Not good. Plus, do you see this? When his helmet busted, that's an equipment change, right? So
Yep.
you got to go out of the game or call a timeout. Chiefs didn't either, and the refs let him get away with it. It was really bad. Really, it's not the most egregious thing that's ever happened, but it's still, if you have an injury,
surprise you.
it does not surprise me at all. Mahomes should have come out, or they had to call a timeout, and they blatantly disregarded that. That's bad. They need another set of eyes up in the booth who can buzz down. I know they got the guy that does the concussion, right? Who buzzed down and say, hey, number 85, he looks wobbly or whatever. But they know the other ref up there to say, hey, look, no, we got to stop the play on the field and do this. It was not good. So the helmet popping off and then the refs not charging the Chiefs with the timeout or something was bad too.
615-737-1025. That's our phone and text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. You can join the show. Let us know your vibe today with all the snow. I know a lot of people, schools were out because of Martin Luther King Day. Some of you were already off, but are you out? Are you off? Are you trying to get out in the snow? Are you going to go sledding? Like, how you feeling today? 615-737-1025. We'll have some fun, keep you entertained. Plus, there could be another opening in the NFL with a coach with the Cowboys. How could that affect the Titans and their search? Where are they at with that? We'll discuss that and much more. Coming up next, Chase and Big Joe on this Monday, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game, live today on this snowy Monday. 615-737-1025. That's our phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHonda.com. And, of course, Chasing Big Joe, presented by Regal Realty Group. Joe, so what was it like in your neck of the woods? Pretty snowy?
Yeah, I mean, there's probably a good 6 to 7 on the ground. But once I got to Lebanon Road and hit Donaldson Pike, I was good. It's avoiding the other cars who don't really know how to drive, but really look, nobody knows how to drive in this. We don't get a lot of it, but it was fine. Interstates were okay, like one lane was open, so I think it'll be as the day goes by and the plows get out and the men and women of TDOT and NDOT who work their tails off, God bless them, I think it'll be fine.
We'll be joined by News Channel 5's Nick Barris at 9:45, kind of get a check on things, but again, if you don't have to be out, then don't. Stay in, listen to us, laugh, maybe cry a little bit, all those things. But
hey, did you know that Washington, the college, hired a football coach this weekend?
I heard that. I heard that. I heard that Alabama hired Washington's coach,
right?
Kalen DeBoer, which is interesting. And by the way, I think there's already been documentaries on him, but like this weekend alone, you could make a 30 for 30 on Jimmy Sexton. Think about the masterclass he just put on.
It's every year.
Well, I know, but like this one in particular, Saban retires. That's his client, so he has that. Then he gets Dan. I think he got Dan Lanning and a Sarkisian raises to keep them at their schools, so they don't go to Alabama, and Kiffin, so they don't go to Alabama. And then he gets DeBoer the job at Alabama. So, and what comes with that. I mean, just amazing that he runs the show like he does.
Yeah, and plus, if I'm DeBoer, look, everybody's already writing DeBoer's obituary at Alabama, and I've talked to a few college coaches. They love him. I mean, he did the grind. He's worked his way up. Nothing was handed to him. But how would you like it if Saban had an office next to you?
Isn't
that weird?
That's going to be – I am curious of how Saban handles that. Like for instance, I was curious of what this was going to look like with the Predators, with Barry Trotz coming back, taking over as a general manager. David Poyle was going to remain as an advisor, and David has let Barry do his thing. He stayed out of the way. He's like it's his show now. No, he's been around some.
Right.
He's there to advise if they ask him, but like. I look at if somebody is an advisor, and that's the role that they're given, you give advice when you're asked for advice. That's kind of, especially in a situation like that. And so can Saban do that? I think he can, but can he, separate it and realize, he made the joke about, some of the players, when he told the players and that he's like, yeah, they're going to give me an office in the stadium so I can still get on your ass if I have to, but it's DeBoer's team now.
Well, it is his team. And, again, it's like, well, he's never recruited in the South. I mean, look, we'll have to see what happens and how he does things. You remember Fulmer, he got in trouble, right, in Knoxville for helping out in practice. He had air quote happened to walk by and like, oh, let me show you how to do a drill, and then was like out there for longer than he should have, and he got in trouble for it to do that. So I don't think Nick Saban can stay away. It's not his fault. I mean, it's just this is a life he's known for 50 plus years. So I don't blame him, but if I'm DeBoer, I mean, like, hey, yeah, can we change this lock here or just something to do that? But that's a heck of a hire by Alabama.
Yeah,
we were
Coach,
wrong.
Yeah, we're going to practice at 7 a.m. tomorrow, and then really they practice at 8, at 6.
I'm sure
5.
Saban's there probably every day at 5 a.m. hanging out. But
sure.
I'll admit we were wrong. We thought James Franklin would get that job just because of the ego involved in that. But DeBoer was like a 180 from James Franklin, and so now they got their guy and they go forward. And, then Reggie Bush comes out this week and blasts Nick Saban. And there's some validity to that, too, because Reggie Bush came out and said, look, the playing field is level now. He can't control the 5 stars and go wherever they want to. And all the other things that go along with it. So there's some good points to be made there. Well, college football is in a flux right now. It's still a great game, But there's a lot, man, that's not good right now.
Do you think that I think, and I want to know what you think, that Alabama and their fans got humbled a little bit with this coaching search because, I think a lot of people thought, they could have anybody they wanted. And I think they kind of realized that not everybody wanted that job because who would want to follow him? I mean, I think nobody's going to admit to that. Steve Sarkisian, one, you shouldn't leave Texas. You got it pretty good right now. You're joining the SEC. But Saban's got it good, or Kiffin's got it good in Oxford, but he probably thought about it. But at the same time, why would you want to be the guy to follow the guy? Because it's just it rarely works out. Like I kind of made the joke to somebody this weekend of, man, Kalen DeBoer goes to the national championship. Now he's at Alabama, and don't worry, Bama fans, Nick Saban will be coaching your bowl game, in a few years when they fire him, when they fire DeBoer. So, you'll see him again. Like I was making that joke because honestly, that's how I feel like it's going to turn out.
Well, from what I've gathered and talking to a few people, Lane Kiffin was not on the radar at Alabama whatsoever, 0. And this was before, because you go back.
Saban wasn't going to allow that.
You can go back and say, he didn't want it, we had our guy in mind, and I think with DeBoer is a great hire for them, but now, I mean, guys are already, a few guys like Isaiah Bond's already hitting the portal, a few guys hit the portal. I mean, that's just the way it is now. Sure. Guys are going to banter. It's free agency in college football. How do you navigate that? How do you figure it out? What's your game plan? And I told you, I mean, last week and during the coaching convention, went to dinner with about 30 coaches, and they were on the phone the entire time. And I think I said it last week. One coach lost a player to SEMO, to Southeast Missouri, and Chase, it ruined this coach's night. It ruined his night. Now imagine you take it to the top level and you lose your top wide receiver to a rival. I mean, it's going to happen over and over and over again. So it's the grind of being a college coach and all that goes on. I don't think it's going to slow down for quite, unless they can rein in the portal, unless they can make certain parameters on that. But
but they can't. The genie's out of the bottle.
You're right.
And it's their fault. It's their own fault. It's everybody involved's fault.
Yep, it sure is.
Let it get to this point. I'll tell you this, though. The sneaky good hire of maybe the whole season, Jedd Fisch going to Washington. I mean, I think Jedd Fisch is a good ball coach.
Well, that just happened. I mean, like I was scrolling last night. I'm like, what's the Washington athletic director doing? And it's like, hey, we got Jedd Fisch. And I was like, Mike, because, they made they passed on the offensive coordinator, Grubb. I'm his first. They passed on him, so he'll go to Bama and do that. And it's got to be tough, right? To recruit to Washington, it's got to be tough because you're way.
Yeah, but I mean, like I feel like Oregon's in this boat, but Washington maybe now is becoming this. I mean, these former Pac-12 schools are almost becoming stepping stone jobs, and again, that's why the Pac-12 failed. That's why the Pac-12 is no more, because they didn't put more of an emphasis into certain things, and so coaches would build up programs, and then their stock would go up, and then they'd get plucked away by the SEC or Big Ten or whatever. But
right,
and that's unfortunate to see a conference die like it did. But so I don't know. I mean, Washington has been. I mean, I guess it has been like Sarkisian started there, and then
Peterson, wasn't the guy from Boise?
He was there and did a great job. So I mean, it's a good job. Obviously, the landscape's changing now that the Pac-12's gone and they're going to the Big Ten. But I think Jedd Fisch is a good hire. I mean, there were even NFL teams that I think were sniffing around on him.
By the way, going back to your Jimmy Sexton thing, he also is the agent for Jimbo Fisher, so he got paid.
Oh yeah,
handsomely for all that goes.
It's good.
On.
Look, it's good to be Jimmy Sexton.
Yep. Did he also have? I think he repped Tebow too, because Tebow came out, had a nice draft contract with the Broncos. So it's just not just coaches. He has some players too as well. But yeah, I mean, he's a force in college football that everybody knows about now.
Sure is. Let's go to Cam, who wants to weigh in on the Cowboys. 615-737-1025. Cam, what's up?
What's going on, guys? First of all, real quick, the only thing about the Alabama situation that it's kind of, I don't know, dirty. I think Tommy Rees, if he'd had another year to really evolve that offense, because, I mean, he did a great job starting from the beginning of the season to the end of the season. And for him not to, at least have a shot to be the offensive coordinator for another year, I think is really dirty. All we talk about as diehard Titans fans is how Amy Armstrong doesn't want to spend money on the team. She's penny pitching, this, that, and the other. Well, the Dallas Cowboys spent every dollar in the bank, in the vault. They drafted the gold. They did everything they could to get that team where it needs to be. But it just shows you what coaching does for a team. And I think that's where I'm starting to get really concerned because, first of all, the owner in Dallas, Jones, he doesn't need an excuse to fire you anyway, but now he has one because you blew it in the playoffs, and now he's got Bill Belichick, Mike Vrabel. He's got all these coaches that are just, I mean, one of the biggest turnovers in the NFL as far as I'm concerned, as far as head coaches. So now, I mean, I feel like he's absolutely doomed because now he has an excuse to let you go and go get the coach of his dreams, Bill Belichick, Mike Vrabel. And like I said, it just shows you that coaching does mean something in the NFL. And that concerns me because we just got rid of a really good one. Thanks. I'll hang up and listen.
Hey, appreciate the call, Cam. I don't think Vrabel goes there. And I don't think Jerry would be interested in Vrabel. Maybe he would.
He wants to splash. I mean, you could say, I got Belichick now. I got the greatest coach ever.
I think he will target Harbaugh. I think he will target Belichick.
Harbaugh's meeting with the Chargers today. It doesn't mean anything, but he's meeting with the Chargers today.
Look, that's where he's –
But, the caller's got a good point now. I mean, it's just such a different dynamic coaching these guys in the pros now. I mean, it was my frustration, you've told me this, is like, these guys, like a lot of guys in the NFL don't tackle, right? You watch that Chiefs game Saturday, hell, 80% of the guys didn't want to, and I know it's cold, but still you got a job that you don't want to tackle. It's frustrating, to coach. And when these guys who, and, Deion said this, another guy says, when a guy's making 15 times more money than you, how often is he going to listen to you, right? Yeah. So you got to find, like Campbell with the Lions, I mean, his straightforward, no-nonsense approach to these guys of, look, it's black and white, here's what we're going to do, and laying it out there for you and live and die with your guy. I mean, guys gravitate towards that, and they kind of like that. But you got to find the right players who are going to buy into what you're selling. And the Cowboys they looked nothing. That team yesterday looked nothing like the team that won all the games in the regular season. It was really
honestly
bad.
the guy that tried the hardest was Dak, and I mean, he just he made mistakes. He's not an elite quarterback. Nope. That's the bottom line. He works. Like, I'll give him that. Like, he goes out and leaves it all out on the field. I mean, he had almost 400 yards passing.
You're right.
But those 2 interceptions were daggers that they just can never come back from. So, I think Jerry's going to fire McCarthy. I do think they will make a change. The only other one that I'm curious about, and this has certainly been out there, if the Steelers lose today, is there a separation with Mike Tomlin that he either on his accord or mutual or whatever it is? That I think that's something to watch, and that will change. And I think that's why you go through the first week of the coaching, interviews and stuff like that. But that wild card weekend, usually one more or 2 more come out of that, and then things really pick up. So I'll be curious of what that does to affect the time. I mean, look, if Mike Tomlin all of a sudden becomes available, then if I'm a team, or in the Eagles too, with Sirianni,
he's not leaving. He's not. I mean, who are you going to find better than Mike Tomlin? Then you're in the search too, and then
you're not. But I mean, like, if he's the stuff that I've read is that it might be him, that he might be like, look, I need a reset. Cowher got to that point. It was just, but I mean, I guess that's a really good thing about that organization, that you want to stay so long, you get the opportunity to stay so long, but coaching's tough, so you might hit a point where you're like, I need a break.
You're right. By the way, we need a vibe check, people. We need pictures. We need to call in. How are things in your area? Let us know. 615-737-1025. You can tweet us at 1025 The Game. We are concerned about you, and make sure that you're okay and out about this morning.
Yes. So let us know. 615-737-1025. We'll have more coaching discussion, including the Titans and who they've talked to. We'll do that next. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Broadcasting from the Spring Hill Heating and Cooling Game Nashville studios, keeping your home feeling comfortable all year round. He's Big Joe. I'm Chase McCabe. Yes, we want a vibe check. You can call, you can text, you can tweet us pictures at 102.5 The Game. What's it like in your area? We'll get an update on things with Nick Barris from News Channel 5 coming up in just a few minutes. He's been out and about all morning. I know, watching all the station. This is where I become a news nerd, and I just like switch through all of them and their coverage because they didn't go to national today. Everybody's covering the snow. All the reporters out there. It does look like the interstates are moving okay. They got a couple of lanes that are open on each one, but they're showing I-24 right now. But again, if you don't have to be out, then don't. It's just not worth it. It's cold, like really cold. I took the dog out, Joe.
Yeah.
he walked out into the snow, kind of looked up, looked at me, turned around, and went right back. He's like, nope.
But don't you
not
have a
doing
Pyrenees? And he's
I do, yeah. And I tell him he's broken because, and usually he loves the cold. But
well, yeah, right.
it was something with the snow. He didn't. He was just like, nope, not feeling it.
0989, thank you on the text line from Parsons, Tennessee. Pretty much, it's a passable road, but thanks for checking in on us there to
Nice.
look that way. Also, I've gotten a few texts from, of course, they're my friends, but we're all in agreement, man. Play the game when the game should be played, right? Play the game.
Yeah, I mean that's fine, but it wouldn't be entertaining.
I mean, it's not. There's not. I mean, don't play if there's a tornado coming or something like that, obviously. But I mean, it's just a bunch of snow. I mean, if it's bad, it's Buffalo in January, like I said. Just play the game. I mean,
Yeah.
if they would have moved that Kansas City game to say it's too cold and moved it to Miami, then I'd been like, all right, I'm done with football because I know there was no consideration for that, but a lot of people are like, well, they should move it to Miami because it's dangerously cold. You know what? Don't go. If it's dangerously cold, don't go. You're okay.
Right.
It's fine.
By the way, a lot of schools are closing for tomorrow. Some are already closing for Wednesday because none of this is going to melt before then. So just keep posted on that. A lot of schools were out today for Martin Luther King Day, but just seeing that starting to come through that most school systems, including Metro Davidson County, have closed Tuesday and Wednesday. So just going ahead and making the call so you can plan ahead. So we'll keep you posted on all that stuff.
Make the call. Chase, did you watch the Dolphins-Chiefs game?
I watched some of it. I was at the Preds game, but I did watch. It was on. Watched a good bit.
Where'd you watch it? On your phone?
No, it was on in the club.
Oh, okay. Make sure they paid money for that. I'm checking. They got the numbers came out for the stream the other night. It's like an all-time record. Most watched event on a streaming service. 23 million viewers on Peacock, NFL Plus, and NBC affiliates in Kansas City, Miami. Nielsen reported that Sunday night the game had a total reach of 27.6 million. What I loved about this were people just moaning, right, about like, I'm not going to pay this. Then they'll go to a bar and drop $100 and watch it on the screen there
Sure.
instead of getting another. And another thing, can we just do this? And I don't know what side you weigh on this, but I'd like to hear from people. Who cares about the Taylor Swift thing? If she's having fun, let her have
Right.
fun.
Just
The cutaway does not bother me, right?
It
The
doesn't bother me at
cutaways,
all.
they're not taking away from the game. So Tony Dungy to come out with that just ignorant statement on Saturday about what she's doing to the game and all this and kind of
no. Well,
it's dumb.
Okay, and here's the thing: Tony Dungy saying that. You know who you should be complaining to? Your bosses.
Yeah.
Because they're the ones that keep cutting away. It's the networks that keep doing it. So just like if you want to complain to somebody, then complain to the people that pay you. But it doesn't bother me. And you're getting a new audience on your game. If I'm the NFL, and this is why they keep showing her, I'm loving this because even though you're already number one, you're just adding to it. You're padding your pockets because now you've gotten like I saw on my Instagram feed, some girls that are big Swifties that they were watching her concert on Netflix or whatever and watching the football game. Fine. Whatever gets people to tune in. So
Just admit it was you. Just don't blame it on some
no,
girls.
It was not me. I was at the Preds game. But
That's okay. You can watch them both.
but I went to her concert. It was great.
Did you
Cried.
see how much NBC paid for that one game?
No.
$110 million
Yeah.
for the rights to the game.
There you go. I
All-
mean, look, it was a good. I think it probably is going to end up being a good call for them. That they did that. So I don't know. I don't know why people have to complain about that.
No, I get the moaning about paying for Peacock. Look, I understand all that, but I don't get the moaning about show. Who cares? They do cutaways anyway during a
Right.
game. They always do cutaways. So
Yeah,
if
but
it's
I mean,
Taylor
you're gonna-
Swift, yeah, big deal.
like if you pay for Netflix, you pay for Amazon, Paramount Plus, Max, all the things.
Yep.
I mean, you had to know this is what was going to happen. That that one they do one, then everybody's going to get on board. So that is what it is. The Titans have completed some coaching interviews. Mike McDonald, the Ravens defensive coordinator, interviewed over the weekend. Antonio Pierce, the interim head coach for the Raiders, interviewed over the weekend, even though it's looking like more and more that he's probably going to end up getting that job, and he should get that job. But he's doing his due diligence, and if I'm Mark Davis, I'm paying attention to that. You want to get this wrapped up, if that is in fact your guy. Mike Kafka interviewed, Brian Callahan interviewed, Bobby Slowick. How about that performance on Saturday? Did his price go up?
I think so, a little bit. I think his price was already there because of the great job he's done getting to the playoffs. But, yeah, I mean, they showed him quite a bit, and that's on the big stage. Now you got a playoff one under your belt, and now you take on, who was it, Baltimore or whomever, the Chiefs, going there. But, yeah, I mean, that's great. But, again, I mean, you hire an offensive coordinator, right? And then is he going to call the plays next year if he's here? I mean,
Probably.
Yeah, so – it's like you interview an offensive coordinator for a team that has a head coach. Like if you interview the Packers OC, right? Matt LaFleur calls all those plays. So don't interview him. Brian Daboll calls all the plays in New York, you would think. So just find the best head coach that fits what you need, and he can go out and find the best coordinators to do that. So it's because you get a coach that's a defensive guy, offensive guy, does not mean it's the end of the world at all.
Yeah, I just want him to get it right, and then try and right some wrongs. Look, I've decided that I'm gonna give Rand a chance. Let's let Rand do his thing, and maybe he'll shut us all up and prove us all wrong. I mean, I think there is some truth to last year. He had to fight with Vrabel, and that Vrabel wanted his control, and so I can give you that there was kind of a split, with all the J-Rob and Vrabel guys, and then the Rand guys, and so now it's Rand's show. So let's see what he can do with it.
Yeah, and now if all that's true,
out.
that Vrabel came in and demanded, I want this, want that, and like, no, you're not getting it. Take care. I'm firmly in Rand's corner. Let's see what he can do and turn it around. And then, what was the thing about Vrabel is going to be the hot coach? He'll get a job immediately. Well, it's not looking that way right now.
No. I mean, Jared, I think Jared has put it as everybody tried to convince us that Vrabel was Lombardi.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, right? And so, he'll get a job immediately when he's gone. Yeah, it's been a week now, and he's not mentioned. And
he hasn't been mentioned at all.
Nope, not at all.
Mean,
so you wonder if somebody calls and says, hey, somebody calls the organization and says, hey, give me the lowdown. It's like, well, he wanted this, and, bullied this person. It's like, all right, we're good. Thank you. Take care.
Yep.
And then move on. But, I mean, it's like nothing's being mentioned for him at all.
No. We're going to talk to our buddy Nick Barris, News Channel 5, coming up next. We'll get the kind of the latest on the roads and where all he's at. I saw him in Murfreesboro this morning on the TV. We'll do that next. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Big Joe on a snow day, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Hey, you want to win let's see if I can spit this out. A 4-pack of tickets to see Belmont take on Northern Iowa at the Curb Event Center on Wednesday, January 17th. That's this Wednesday. Caller number 3, 615-737-1025 will win that 4-pack of tickets to see the Belmont Bruins take on Northern Iowa at the Curb Event Center this Wednesday.
All right, I got to before Nick Barris gets on the phone here in a moment. I need help. Where is the best sledding hill around? And we need you guys to win because there'll be a lot of sledding this afternoon. I'm gonna get out and do some, around.
I'm planning on it.
So let us know where the best sledding hill is because back in the day, the best sledding hill was at Percy Priest Dam. You could go straight down the side over there where now they got the dog park. You would hit top speed. It felt like 100. And you would just go flying down that way, and it was amazing. But they blocked it off. They can't do that. So where's the best sledding hill in Middle Tennessee? I'd like to know.
That's a good one. You can text us, 615-737-1025. Let's say hello to Nick Barris from News Channel 5, who's on the line with us. Been nice enough to join in. Nick, good morning. Hope you're staying warm.
I just got done eating a Nutty Buddy, which was in my pocket all morning during my live shot. And that's my breakfast, and I can tell you Joe would appreciate it.
Well, thank you for that, Nick. Can you drop some by the radio station?
I should swing by. It's cold out here. It is cold. It's dark side of the moon cold.
So where are you right now? I saw you were in Murfreesboro earlier.
Still here in Murfreesboro. We haven't moved much from here. We try to cover, all the different areas, and this is where we were assigned, so we're kind of hanging out here.
So how is it in Rutherford County?
It's not bad. It's like the same place everywhere. It's not icy, which is the key. Ice is what makes everything bad. If it's not icy, the trucks have done a great job salting the roads, and they're clear for the most part, except for slush. As long as you drive slowly, if you need to get somewhere, you can get there. Just be cautious. It's not bad, in my opinion. It's just really, really cold. Thank goodness there's not a ton of wind.
Why Murfreesboro?
Well, I mean, it's part of our viewership area, and we've got reporters all the way up into Kentucky, Williamson County, Wilson County, and Rutherford County is an important part of our viewing area. So it's a busy area. We thought we'd come down here.
No, I know that. I know how TV works. I'm just thinking, what was it about Murfreesboro? What was it about? Why? I mean, is there more snow there? I mean, you're the best reporter over there. Is there more snow there?
No, I think it's probably – well, they said that there was going to be more snow more in the southern portion of the area, probably heard. So that was kind of – let's say, yeah, because you're right. When they're sending the top dog out and my photojournalist Bud Nelson, okay, we're the two top dogs. You're not sending us somewhere where there's not action, okay? Let's make that very clear. Okay, and so this is where we went because they thought this might be a trouble spot, but it's not.
Okay, well that's
okay. I mean that's
some top-notch reporting right there.
I want to know, Joe. Do you have a pair of snowshoes?
I do. I actually have. I got some boots. I'm good to go. I made it to the station this morning. I mean, I come down off my high palatial estate in Donaldson and got to the station today, but it was good. So let me ask you this. So are the interstates okay? Have you been on the interstates lately?
Yeah, because you know where I live, Joe. I had to make my way here from Murfreesboro to meet my photog early this morning. So I drove from Lebanon, came on 840, and then on to I-24 for a short distance. And it was at 4:30 this morning. I was going maybe 50 miles an hour, but it was fine. I mean, it was snowy, but and you're going slower than usual, but nothing treacherous.
Is it still the same? Back roads are still pretty bad, but the main roads are going to be a little bit. All right.
When you say bad, it's just that there hasn't been much traffic on it, but it's not icy. If you have the vehicle, and I'm driving a tiny little Nissan Versa, okay? I was the first people out on the road coming off Tater Peeler, and as long as I was just going in low gear at about 15 miles an hour, I had no problem.
I don't know if you've talked to or who you've talked to with TDOT, but I'm curious if, we saw the brine on all the roadways. Did that make a difference at all, or because of the temperatures, did it really not do much?
I think it made a difference, especially when the vehicles start traveling over the pavement. And you're right. When it gets so cold, salt doesn't make a difference. But in this case, especially like where I'm looking at Old Fort Parkway here in Murfreesboro, with the salt that was put down and the traffic making its way over, it clears it and you almost see bare pavement, which is really good.
How much longer are you going to be down there? You going to report for the 11 o'clock news there, Nick?
As long as my boss, Sandy Boonstra, deems me to be out here in the elements, I will remain, because I am devoted to her and our viewership.
Hey, what's the worst? When did you move here? 95, 96?
95, yeah.
What's the worst weather snow-wise you can remember?
Since I've moved here?
Yeah.
I can't remember. Well, I mean, aside from tornadoes and things like that and floods, if you're talking about severe weather, like snow-wise,
Yeah.
because obviously tornadoes are the worst and flooding. But, Joe, I can't remember what year it was, but when it was an ice storm, or when it was literally an ice and it was gridlock everywhere.
Yes.
That's what I say. Snow doesn't bother me. But and I can't remember the exact dates. Leland would know. But when there was
2015.
okay, that's it. The ice was the worst. The absolute worst. Power lines are down. You can't travel anywhere, and that's where it's really dangerous on the roads. And you know, like you guys said, salt doesn't make a difference when it's that cold and icy.
Real quick, I know you're a Pac-12 guy. What do you think about Kalen DeBoer going to Alabama?
Who wants to follow a legend? You know, I went to the University of Oregon, and I remember living out west when John Wooden retired. And yes, I'm putting Nick Saban in John Wooden's category.
Sure.
Greatest ever. Wooden retires, replaced by Gene Bartow. How did that work out for him? How did it work out for the woman who replaced Pat Summitt? I mean, she meant well, but it's not going to work out. You don't want to follow a legend. You want to be the person that follows the legend.
Yep. I 100% agree with you. Hey, Nick, appreciate you checking in this morning.
guys.
Great job on the TV, as Joe likes to say, and we'll talk to you soon.
Appreciate it. You guys take care. Be safe. All right.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Nick Barris, News Channel 5, joining us here
All
on
right,
the
Chase.
program.
All right, his little Nissan Versa is getting around town.
I know.
And
I know.
you
Look,
and your Nissan, whatever, can't get in it. So I think the problem is with you.
I've admitted the problem is with
Okay.
me. Like, I'm not good at it.
Have
nor
you
do
been
I
in a
enjoy
Nissan
doing it.
Versa?
No.
It's as big as it sounds. So it's a Versa.
But it sounds like
she
it's
said?
versatile. See,
It is. It got the job
I
done.
got that, Chase.
Thank you.
Meanwhile, Chase is stranded till sometime in mid-February, so we'll try to see if we can get you out of there soon. Maybe Nick can get you in his Versa.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Hey, I can run everything right from here.
All right, so where's the best sledding hill in your area? Wait, I got to know this.
My backyard.
Is it really?
Yeah, so the house I'm in is my grandparents' old house. So I always, whenever it snowed, my mom would always bring me over here because they have a hill that's just perfect, and then it levels out into a creek bottom because there's a creek right in the back, and you walk up the hill. Now the only problem is there's a lot of trees. So one time I literally pinballed my way down the hill. I bounced off one tree, then I bounced off another, and made my way down. So you got to kind of navigate that, but that that adds some fun to it. But I may have to try it later.
Okay, that's a good thing. For those that know the Bonnas and Hermitage, there's some really nice hill. The problem is it's all the road, and at the bottom you run into Jacksonian or Plantation Drive, and so you got to have a buddy at the bottom to kind of hold off everything. But those are some really, really good hills in that area. So if you could do it, find a hill instead of a road, because that's better for you.
Yeah.
But I just want to know. I mean, it's so much has changed, and so many people have moved here. Where are the best sledding hills around Middle Tennessee? Because I'm sure there are some really good ones.
You and I are going to be like those old ladies from that commercial.
The Amazon thing,
commercial. Yeah, that's going to be us.
I'd love it, man.
615-737-1025. We're having some fun here on a Monday, MLK Day, and a snow day. 1025, 1063 The Game. Hour number 2, Chase and Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Chase McKay, Big Joe Dubin, Dr. Crane, Nick Frazier on the ones and twos here on this snowy Monday. Hope you're having a good day, staying warm, staying safe. I appreciate Nick Barris from News Channel 5 for joining us as watching News Channel 5 right now, and they got Storm 5 Titan out. And as he said, there's some slush, and as long as you go slow, you should be okay. But, again, if you don't have to be out, then don't. Just stay in.
Right.
So.
Our friend Cam on the text line says, "Hey, Chase, I'm in a 2012 Nissan Altima, and it's a snow plow. Come on,
Yep.
man. Think like a man."
Listen, I feel like I've been pretty transparent today. That,
You have.
I'm not, if I'm not good at something or don't.
That's
enjoy
why we
doing
love you, man.
Because here's the thing. You made the perfect. You said this morning that it's not so much the roads as it's the other drivers. I don't
Right.
want to be the other driver, like, because I'm scared I will be. I'll be slow,
Yep.
and I'll just make it worse. And so because I'm not comfortable in it. I'm a Southern boy at heart, and because I am
get
a
it.
Southern boy, so
Yeah. 2156 says the best sledding hill in Nashville's hole 13 at Nashville Golf Club in Brentwood.
okay.
We'd run that hill when I was a kid in the 80s, and it was incredible. So I hope it's still the same way. So, yeah, let us know on the text line, 615-737-1025. What is your go-to sledding place? Have you reached out to Mr. Plow, Chase? Have you asked him what he's doing today?
Mr. Plow, that's his name. That name again is Mr. Plow.
But-
No, I have not.
But I hear there's rumors that he's a boozer, so we have to watch. If nobody's ever seen the Simpsons episode where Homer becomes a snowplow driver,
So good.
you need to. It is fantastic.
Oh, it is so good. The Plow King.
Hey, Dr. Crane, how come you're not weighing in on this? You're a kid young at heart. Where's your best sledding part?
Tough. My
Just
mother,
make up something.
Huntington Parkway. There's a giant hill that goes down there. Huntington Parkway. I don't have to make it up. I know. I went down it once as a kid. My mom did it more than usual because she grew up on that street. But,
Right. Where is that? Huntington Street?
No, Huntington Parkway. It's over there on the bridge of Antioch and Nippers Corner.
Huntington Parkway. I've never heard of that.
Really?
I've heard of it, but I
It's like-
can't really place
Like
it.
Bradley Parkway? Like in that same
No.
Huntington Parkway?
It's right off of Nippers Corner and whatchamacallit, the
Oh
intersection.
yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Right next to the Bojangles and
Yep.
Regions.
Yep.
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 Yeah, Chase knows.
Okay.
Big Joe, I'll give you a little map quest after we go off the air.
Print it out for me, will you?
Yeah, there you go. Kids today, they don't know what that's like.
No, they don't at all. Oh,
that
my
is for
goodness.
sure. So you heard in the update, Predators play today. We'll have pregame coverage for you at 4, an early game in Vegas, 5 o'clock puck drop. Nice win, with 2 wins, Friday night and then Saturday night at Bridgestone Arena. That was a fun one Saturday night because it was 0-0, basically, less than 7 minutes or so in the game, and they end up winning 3-1.
I will tell you, and I'm actually going to write something about this. Saturday night at Bridgestone Arena was fantastic. And I don't know if it was because there was a lot of Islander fans were there because they only come to town once a year, right? The Eastern Conference comes to town once a year. But they were great. They were fun. They're having a good time. They were good back and forth ribbing. It was, I don't know, something about Saturday night at Bridgestone Arena was simply fantastic. And the Preds win, the way they won added to it. But Chase, I just, we've been to 1,000 games there, but something about Saturday night was a lot of, it just felt so good being there.
Yeah, I agree. And they needed to have a really good performance at home, I think, just for them, that they had a couple of clunkers and that was bugging them. And, I mean, they had moments where they played better than others, but ultimately they got the 2 points. And I thought that their resolve at the end, especially when the Islanders scored and they were down 1-0. I mean, Philip Forsberg became a man possessed. I mean, he was throwing the puck at the net every time he touched it, which is what you want him to do. And then ultimately they tie it up. And then how about Alex Carrier shoots it through a stick, and then it beats the goalie, and that gives him the game winner. And then Parsonen adds the empty netter with like 0.7 seconds on the clock. They didn't even have a goal. They dropped the puck. Half the Islanders were already in the locker room, and they didn't have a goalie.
I meant to ask you about that. I've never seen that before. How is that allowed?
I don't think it really should have been. I mean, I guess it can. Like you're not required to have 6 players, 5 skaters and a goalie on the ice, I guess. So
Could you imagine somebody in the betting world who scored that empty netter at the end for the Preds? Who was that?
Parsonen.
Could you imagine
Parsonen.
if you had him like some weird parlay to score a goal, and he scored that way? I mean, you're meant to win if that happens.
Oh yeah, no doubt. So he he kind of needed that too. But so 2 in a row, and then they hit the road for the trip this week in Vegas tonight. And then are you laughing?
I'm watching. I'm looking at images from the snowplow episode, and there's one where Barney drives up to threaten Homer, and he's drunk and he's got a gun. And he's,
Oh yeah. Well, that's when he shoots the tires out, right?
it is. Oh man, I'm sorry.
Look, Barney is one of the more underrated Simpsons characters.
I mean, he's a business owner. He owns a bowling alley and everything.
Yeah, well, isn't that his uncle? His uncle owns the bowling alley.
Barney's Bowl-O-Rama. I don't know. Are you named after your uncle? I guess so.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
So he has that, and then was in the B Sharps. They found him on the bathroom floor.
Just this picture of him driving up, man. We're delirious on a Monday when it's 18 feet of snow on the ground.
Cam says best hill to sled on Nissan Stadium. Start at the owner's box and slide through the GM and coaching staff. Wicked downward spiral. Cam.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
great.
that's a good one. That's the text of the day right there.
0247's on your side, too. It says, look, again, Chase, if you're scared, make the smart decision to stay home. So good job, Chase.
I'm not scared of being scared. I'm scared.
You're thinking about the other people around you as you get around. Look, again, we talked to Nick. The interstates are, one lane passable. Just if you don't have to get out, don't get out.
Well,
but
and
if you
here's
do,
the other thing. I don't know like the local totals necessarily of how much is at the station snow wise. There's 5 or 6 over here.
Oh, it's coming down, Chase. I'm
And
looking
it's
out the
coming
window
down,
right
it's
now.
It's coming down right now. I'm watching out the window. But I walked out this morning. Like I said, the dog didn't want to go out. But I had checked on it a few times last night. My footprints were covered already this morning. And then, I haven't taken the ruler to it, but there's a good amount that got dumped on the west side here.
Oh, the west side?
And I know that they, Nashville Severe Weather is a good source, and the TV stations, they said they couldn't put a exact number on how much snow we were going to get, and because it definitely, could have been 2 to 3 inches somewhere or 5 to 7, in other places.
So I was on years ago. I was on when I worked at Channel 2. I was on the set, and it was supposed to snow, and it didn't snow. And I was on the set with Bob Mueller and Lisa Patton, right? And so they go from weather, and they want to be on the desk early. So I'm on the desk early, and it didn't snow. And so Bob Mueller says to Lisa Patton, hey, Lisa, about that snow you promised. And Chase, to see the rage in her face when he said that, I was like, oh, Bob, you didn't just ask that. And then she's like, well, Bob, Middle Tennessee's a pretty big area. And I was like, oh, man. And Bob, he felt so bad for asking that. But, that's the thing. I mean, it's like you said, you might get an inch here, but like, well, we were expected 4 inches here, or it didn't snow at all on this part over there. But that's a tough job predicting those snow totals. But she was she's like, well, and rightfully so. She kind of went off on Bob just a little bit, and I was over just laughing to myself. It was
Our
kind of
buddy
funny.
Nick Barris is on TV right now, and he just measured in Murfreesboro. They have 5 inches.
Oh, so it probably came up to his head.
Yeah. He's got his little temperature gun, too. I mean, he looks very handsome.
Well, we better be – Justin Beasley better be careful. He'll get lost in the snow. He's so tiny.
Yeah, well, that's why he got out of TV, so he
He's
didn't have
out
to worry about that.
running around doing all that
He
stuff.
can give his opinions.
What
on
about
Twitter.
that snow you promised us? Well, Bob.
Did the mustache move at all? When
Oh,
he said that?
but he leaned in and did a little snicker, too. And I was like, oh, this is not good. I'm like, why am I sitting up here being part of this? I don't need to be on this right here.
Caught
So
in the crossfires.
I was. Like, get me out of here. I'd have sat there and, did the old, put your hands out in front of you and, nod the head and lean in and kind of smile, which was just so dumb. By the way, Chaser, the Titans' best beat reporter has just tweeted out the Titans requested another interview
Oh,
with
well,
Eagles.
tell us on the other side.
Oh, we'll do that. Okay,
That's
we'll
the
do it.
tease. Tell us on the other side, who have the Titans requested an interview with? We'll discuss that next. Is it a good choice? We'll also discuss that. Chase and Big Joe, 1025, 1063 The Game.
At Big Joe on the go. He says, I quit a summer job once building decks. As I left, my drunk boss fired nails at me with a nail gun. Job ain't done, boy!
A classic from The Tonight Show. Chasing Big Joe, 1025, 1063 The Game. You've been, he's read your tweets, what, 5 times?
Yes, sir. 5 times it has. That actually happened. The true story, well, they're all true, but that was on Franklin Limestone Road back in the summer of 1985. And I'll never forget driving off. He was drunk, the guy I worked with in the morning by the time I got there. So I left about 11:30, and I had to go around the house. I had to go in front of him to get out. And when I did, it was like bing, bing, bing. I'm like, what the hell is that? And I realized he was shooting nails at me with the nail gun. It was the damnedest thing. I went down to a payphone on Bell Road and Murfreesboro Road, and I called my mom. She's like, how's it going, honey? I'm like, well, Mom, I had to leave. He was drunk, and he was building this deck. It was so awful. She says, well, how long were you there for? And I said, I was there for 4 hours. And as all moms do, she says, well, you need to go back and get your money. I said, Mom, what part of he fired nails at me with a nail gun did we miss on this? And then so moved on. And then Jimmy Fallon read that. What's funny about that, Chase, is that he read it. It was like 11. This is when he was on the old show. So like 11:45, my phone started dinging. And I was like, oh, okay. And then like 2 o'clock in the morning, it started doing it again. So they replayed it on the West Coast. So friends I have out there were like, oh, my God, we're sending that to me. But just one of those things that was fun.
Yeah, well, and look, now you're a celebrity. I think Fallon should invite you on the show.
He probably should, and we should do that and say,
It would
look,
help his ratings, but he's got to spend too much time on politics and all those things.
That's so awful. All those shows are awful now.
Oh yeah, it's not like it used to. I mean, Dave Letterman, it was the best when he would put like the earpiece in Rupert G's ear and like send him to say things to people. It was so funny.
Yeah, those were good. And then he kind of went off that whatever and got too political. But if you go back and watch, even Leno back in the day or Carson back, I mean, they ripped everybody apart. And that's what we enjoyed. And now it's like, I don't even turn it on anymore. It's not even something I even think about anymore to do.
The highlight of a couple of years ago, I went to New York in March, and the highlight of that trip is I walked to the Hello Deli. I went and had a sandwich. Rupert was there. I got to meet Rupert, got my picture with him. He was like, couldn't have been nicer, was so fantastic.
Nice.
And it was like, I grew up watching you on The Late Show.
Yeah, I think it all went down when Larry Bud Melman, when he passed away, or he wasn't allowed to go with Letterman over to CBS. He was the best. And, those shows were so much fun. I mean, one of my favorite Letterman shows one time is he did a show in the lobby of an airport at the waiting area. And it was just him and Paul. Paul had like a little Casio keyboard. And I remember the guest that day was Pat Sajak, and I'll never forget it. And that was just, it was Letterman took it to another level. It was a lot of fun, but there was no agenda. And that's why we liked it back then. There was no agenda. We all just laughed, and maybe one day they'll all get back to that.
Well, my favorite, too, was the first episode of The Late Show on CBS. He talked about that there were things that they kind of had to find some loopholes in, that there were things that they did on the old show that they either couldn't do on the new show or they could do, but they had to call it something different. And so he kept, like, taking little pot shots at NBC, for keeping that. And then Tom Brokaw walks out and it basically is just like, hey, we're watching you. And like the only person in the world that could have gotten away with that was Tom Brokaw.
Oh, yes.
Like it was the funniest thing ever.
Oh my. Yeah, I remember that now that you put that out there. That was so much fun watching that stuff at night. And just Letterman, there's some jokes. The top 10 list was iconic and all that back in the day. He just get it to another level. But the last 4 to 5 years of Letterman was pretty much unwatchable.
Yeah.
But before that, it was great.
Oh, for sure. So Brian Johnson is the latest on the interview list for the Tennessee Titans. And, they've requested Slowick and all these guys. Obviously it'll have to be after their games, but they'll keep working their way down the list. And as you mentioned, Jim Harbaugh will do his first interview, and that'll be with the Chargers.
Yeah, that's no surprise there, what goes on. I think – so let me ask you this, and I don't know this. So what if they interview Slowick, say, today, right, and they want him? Can they offer him the job before he's out?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't remember how this all works.
That's happened. I think that's happened a few times where a guy gets a job, but he finishes out with the other team before taking the job. Because, let's be honest. What is there? I know there's stuff to do right now, but, is it really going to hurt you if you're, the OC of a team and you finish up with them while also maybe preparing to be the head coach?
Well,
it's not like college that you have to go into recruiting right away.
Right. Well, somebody like, well, when they lose, it's like the whole Travis Kelce thing. He's not focused because he's dating Taylor Swift. And if an OC does it, well, he's not focused because he's too busy trying to figure out the staff or what's going on there. But, I remember, what was it? An OC got a job. He said, I'm not going to think about that job until I'm done here. I'm the head coach. I'm not going to do any work on that job until I am done and go forward. Let me ask you this, though. With this rumor about Sirianni could be out if they lose tonight because they've gone straight to where. I mean, can you see them plug in like a Vrabel there, or maybe they plug in like a Slowick?
I think Vrabel would be, because who do they need to control? Who do they need to make sure is happy?
Mr. Brown.
And who can do that?
Mr. Vrabel.
Yep. I think Vrabel would be – he might be the slam dunk there, if they were to do that. I mean, I'm not going to be surprised by anything when it comes to Vrabel that, if he sat out a year, I mean, I think it's Carter's playing baseball, so you could watch him play baseball and then get back in next year with next year's hiring cycle. Or I wouldn't be surprised if Dallas went after him, or if Philadelphia. I think Jerry's going to want more of a more high profile like Belichick or Harbaugh, but Philadelphia could be interesting if Pittsburgh were to become open. That's the team that drafted him. Could that be of interest to him? But I do think there, even though we haven't heard a lot about it, I still think there's going to be some interest in Mike Vrabel. It's just all about what does he want to do.
You know what team we haven't heard anything about is Seattle. They've announced pretty much nothing what they're doing. They're not showing their hand, which I kind of like it that way.
I think they're waiting on Dan Quinn, and Dan Quinn's now available. So,
all right, you want Dan Quinn after that performance yesterday? I know, I'm kidding. There was a lot of that. Hey, let me ask you this too.
It was pretty bad though.
The Rams receiver Puka Nacua.
Yeah, Puka Nacua.
He should be a poster child for draft analysts. Because.
Oh, yeah.
He goes in the fifth round, and I was reading he doesn't get off the line of scrimmage too well. He's got some speed. Look, man, it's all about finding the right person for your situation. And once he started emerging during the regular season, started falling more and more, and he was just amazing. So, to me, the combine, Chase, is a complete waste of time.
Yep,
it's
Underwear
a complete
Olympics.
Waste of time.
It is, and you don't it doesn't prepare you for football. I mean, there's so many guys nowadays that they put so much into preparing for the combine that their rookie years suffer because everything you're doing to prep for the combine does good to prep for, getting hit and being in a car wreck every play and actually playing football. So I don't get it. I think it's more important for the interview aspect of it, but the actual on-the-field stuff that they're doing. I mean, half the quarterbacks don't throw anymore.
No, they don't. And I remember asking, Kevin Byard did not go to the combine. I asked John Robinson. I was like, hey, did this affect you at all? He didn't go to the combine. And Robinson's like, not really, because all you do is put on his game tape, and you saw that he was almost involved in every single play. And then, I think you get more work by going to a Senior Bowl or when you can practice against the other guys, that are
scouts
elite
have
level.
Told me they learn more at a pro day too. That it's because they're actually throwing, or if they're a quarterback, or their coaches are out there doing drills. That if you're going to do anything other than look at game tape, that the pro day is going to tell you more than the combine.
I could see that, but I just think you watched Puka last night and throughout the regular season how great he played, and I know Brock Purdy is in the system. I understand that, but nobody had him, first or second round. And of course, you always go back to where Brady was drafted. It's just a waste. It's fitting guys into your system who do well and can get the most out of that. And I like I like what McVay did. McVay was being talked out of the league a year ago, and then he got back in. That was a great game last night, and they got a lot of talent there. Stafford still looks like he's 25 years old throwing the football around, but I know he was the number one draft choice back in 2008 or 9, whatever it was. I get that, but I just think the combine now is a complete waste of time.
Yep, but it's one of those things that won't go away anytime soon. At least I don't think it will. So who knows? But yeah, the Rams are interesting because they won the Super Bowl. They gave everything up to go and get the players that they needed to win that Super Bowl. then they fall off, and then they're back in the playoffs this year. I mean, and now McVay seems re-energized, and Stafford. I mean, they're eventually going to have to look at what's going to be behind Stafford, but and now they got Puka that is one of their go-to guys because Kupp is still good, but he can't stay healthy. So I think I'm curious to see the Rams again next year. We'll get I think we're going to be joined by Jonathan Hutton. We'll get his thoughts on the Titans and their coaching search and everything going on. We'll do that next. Chasing Big Joe, presented by Regal Realty Group, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
Hey, I love being asked about medical house calls all the time because it truly is wonderful. It is Middle Tennessee's best health care in the comfort of your own home. I am talking about medical house calls where the nearest clinic is, in fact, your home. The website, medicalhousecalls.com. No more heading to an urgent care. No more sitting in a waiting room. Board-certified nurse practitioners and physician's assistants, they come to you. And look, don't take my word for all this. Just read the numerous fantastic reviews that Medical House Calls has gotten. It truly is a game changer. In fact, Chuck McDowell was a client. He loved the service so much, he bought the company. For years, I had to leave work early to check on my mom when she got sick. Now you can have Medical House Calls, check on your loved ones to make sure everything and everyone is okay. It's that wonderful. Visit the website today, medicalhousecalls.com.
Chase and Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game here on this snowy Monday. Hope you're staying safe, having a good one out there. Also, Martin Luther King Day, for sure. Dr. Martin Luther King Day. Got a football game at 3 o'clock, 3:30, Bills and Steelers.
Yeah, we do.
I mean, hey, that's the one good thing about moving it is, stuck in on a snow day, you can watch football.
Well, I think what's going to happen now is that they will, NFL, look at this like, let's do 2, 2, and 2. 2 Saturday, 2 Sunday, 2 Monday.
Potentially, yeah. I mean,
Unless
if
it's
you're CBS, you're probably ticked off. But
Unless it's too much snow and then we have to postpone the game. Or you know what? I bet there's going to be a proposal, right? There's going to be a proposal that all playoff games.
I think Travis and Taylor will probably get engaged.
There's going to be a proposal where like all playoff games are going to be played like in Orlando, Tampa, and Miami, so everybody's not cold and they're warm. I guarantee somebody's going to propose that.
I don't think so.
It won't happen, but somebody's going to propose that.
Maybe, but then Clark Hunt will go, absolutely not. You think I'm going to lose out on the gate for a playoff game? And that'll shut that down.
They paid $110 million for one game Saturday night.
Yeah.
Now, you recoup some of that back in advertising, and somebody had a good thing. They tweeted out and said, look, if this game's on a streaming network, don't run commercials.
True. But, I mean, you still got to make money.
Yeah, I mean, they will. I mean, you hopefully make the money back on streaming part of that, but that's why this whole thing with the Titans Stadium, when the NFL could just cut you a check. The NFL said, all right, here's a check for $2.5 billion. Go build your stadium. Don't ask us for anything else. They could do it today. Today, they could do that.
100%. So the snow, watching all the television coverage right now, I guess that's Nikki D. Ray from News Channel 5. Don't you have a pink jumpsuit like that?
I've got several pink jumpsuits like that.
Yeah, they're very nice.
And then is she on like a bank cam? What is this?
I don't know what she's she's in the car, the Storm 5 Titans. So I guess she's standing in front of that.
Oh, okay.
So that's what it is. I guess we will not have Jonathan Hutton today. Maybe hopefully he's maybe he's out building a snowman. I don't know.
It could be.
So.
Maybe he's on the search committee for the Titans' new coach.
So I want to get your opinion on this because I asked I've talked to a few people and asked their opinion on this. So whenever the new head coach is introduced, they'll do the press conference and Rand Carthon will be up there and the new coach will be up there. I think Amy Adams Strunk will be too.
I think now she will be.
I think she's going to get bullied into it.
Because I think in the court of public opinion, she knows she's losing, even though if my coach tried to come in and bully me, I'd be like, hey, hit the bricks, pal. But I think now in the court of public opinion, she needs to be more visible. And I don't think, Chase, she was ready for the backlash she would receive last week from all this about not being completely transparent. And we've talked about this. Like, she doesn't owe me anything. Or you.
I disagree. I disagree.
Nah.
I think she owes look, with what we do as media, and you and I are a little different because we just sit here and we blab about, sports and stuff, but the media is there to gather information to deliver to the fans. And therefore they are that conduit between the team and the fans. And so for you to say that she doesn't owe us anything is basically saying she doesn't owe the fans anything, which I think is wrong because they're the ones that are paying to go to the current stadium. They'll pay even more, and most are going to get outpriced to go to the new stadium, and she can't even sit up there and answer a few questions. She's got to sit in front of a camera with Mike Keith and a script on two-tone TV and answer it that way? No.
But she can and she will because she can. That's what I'm with you, man. I'm with you, but she can do what she wants. But I think the backlash in the court of public opinion was not good for her. So I think she will be up there. And she knows she's going to get peppered with questions, but you should be able to take those questions.
Yep.
And it's okay to say, "Look, I don't know. I don't know. Don't make something to say I don't know."
If she got up there, and let's say it's, and I think I've started to think I think Burke Nihill should probably be up there too.
Why?
But
He has
He's
nothing to do with
I know,
on the field.
I know, but he's the president of the team.
Nope.
And so he knows everything going on.
No, he doesn't.
If
Stay
she's not
away.
going, if she's not going to do it, then he needs to.
Well, okay, but still, he's. I think it's a waste
I get
of time.
It. Look, I get what you're saying. I would rather them have a football guy or put Rand in a better position to be that, which they're not right now. But if she's up there, if it's the three of them, and she's asked a question that she either doesn't know the answer to or doesn't want to answer, then say, you know what, I'm going to defer to Rand on that. And that's the plan going in, and Rand has to be prepared for that.
I would love to talk to her and say, look, any question that you don't like, you just repeat the question back to him. Like, Amy, what were your thoughts on letting Mike Vrabel go? Then you're like, what were your thoughts on letting Mike Vrabel go? Just come back with every question, and pretty soon people are like, I'm not going to ask a question anymore because I'm not getting anywhere.
Right.
It's a great old Saturday Night Live skit that they did. But, I mean, she could get up there and say, be up there, but if you don't know, just say you don't know.
So I think I can't remember if we talked about this on air or not, but I was looking through pictures and stuff looking for something, and I went back to 2019 and I was like, oh, look at this. It was the Jeffrey Simmons introductory press conference when he was drafted here in Nashville. At the podium was, of course, Jeffrey Simmons, Mike Vrabel, John Robinson, and Amy Adams Strunk. She actually sat up there with them. And I don't remember, were you at that press conference?
I was.
Do you remember if she answered any questions or
I
not?
don't, but again, that's a completely different dynamic because that's a celebration.
I know. And, there was stuff with him and, and she's the owner and stuff, but still, she was there. She was, sitting at the podium. I mean, I don't understand this. And when Rand Carthon was introduced as a general manager, she did a little introductory speech, and then she sat down in the front row. And it was Rand Carthon and Mike Vrabel that were up there. I just think when the new head coach is introduced, because of all the backlash she's gotten, she has no choice. She has to get up there and face it, especially with learning that a lot of more owners will take questions and speak than don't. And the ones that don't have
you want Rand to be your GM, then let him defer all the questions to him. And say, and that way we'll know him. If she doesn't let him answer the questions, then we know that he last year was basically brought in for why. But now let him run the team, and I hope he is wildly successful.
I do too.
Wildly
I'm pulling
successful.
for him.
Yeah.
I am.
Once we know all the facts and how he was kind of like brought in and kind of left out standing in the hallway, I think I am 100% in his corner now for him to succeed and take this franchise to the level. Because you look at things now, it used to be Chase, 5-7 years ago. Well, there's a long rebuild that goes on. Now, look at the Houston Texans. Yeah. Look at and it's all starts with a quarterback, man. I tell people the 98 Rams team was awful. They went 5-11. They were awful. They get Kurt Warner happens to become the quarterback. They turn it around. They win a Super Bowl.
For meal.
Yeah, and then look at now with the Texans. It could happen. It could happen in a year. It can.
Sure, but I think that we'll agree the Texans had. I'm going to point to three things that they did that made this work. They hired DeMeco Ryans to be the head coach. There's a buy-in with him. Okay. Obviously, he was a player. He played in Houston. He understands the lay of the land there. But everybody has bought into what he's selling as the head coach.
All right.
They drafted C.J. Stroud. They found the quarterback. And I think C.J. Stroud has exceeded everyone's expectations to this point. Obviously, you thought he was going to be good in the National Football League or you wouldn't have taken him second overall. But he has been – fantastic.
Yes.
And then the big part that nobody's talking about, guess what he has? An offensive line. He has a line. He has a I don't know if they're the best offensive line in the league. I would say they're probably not. But he has a competent offensive line that gives him time, and then, it also helps that they've got some young receivers that he can throw to as well.
So it's not far-fetched that this team can be turned around if they do put the right places to go forward and do this. So It's not all as bad as people want to think it is. I mean, now you still got to find everything else like you just talked about, and move it in and go forward. But still, there's a lot of hope there. And look back at the Texans and the Rams and other examples of teams that have turned it around too as well. Just go out and get the job done, hire the right guy, take it. Look, there is no rush. We all want him to hire a coach today. There is no rush. Just find the right coach who fits in with what you want to do and go there. If it takes 4 or 5 days or 15, it doesn't matter. Find the right coach.
Find the right coach indeed, and we will see if they can do just that over the course of the next few weeks. Coming up next, we'll put a bow on this Monday, this snowy Monday, with celebrity birthdays here on the Chase and Big Joe Show, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Chase McKay, Big Joe Dubin here on this Monday, this snowy Monday, presented by Regal Realty Group, and, of course, broadcasting live from the Spring Hill Heating and Cooling Game Nashville studios, keeping your home feeling comfortable all year round. Very important right now. I want to stay warm. That is for sure, because it's like 9 degrees outside.
It is. Chase,
with all this weather.
This song, it fits today. You know who sings this?
Who did this one? I don't remember who did this one.
Oh, come on, man. Dr. Crane, tell our boss who it is.
It's Informer. Snow.
Snow, that's right. One of the
I
worst
see what you
songs
did
ever
there.
that you play in a club and you dance to. Like,
I was wondering
remember
why
this song?
I was kind of wondering why we were playing this, but that's okay.
Don't do that, man. You know.
By the way, a couple of programming notes for tonight. No Commodore Hour because of the weather. There will be a MTSU Coaches Show on 93.3 Classic Hits starting at 7, so tune in for that. But no Commodore Hour tonight for Vanderbilts.
Chaser, you know we love history. On this day, 1989, the second annual WWF Royal Rumble was held. You know who won that one? Oh, come on, get this.
Ooh, who did win that one?
1989. I love the name. I remember the wrestler now that I'm reading it, but
Yeah, it wasn't a big name. Hacksaw Jim Duggan won the
you got
first
part
one.
of it. He's got Big is part of it.
Big John Studd.
Big John Studd was the winner.
Yep.
1989.
So that was the Rumble's like my favorite. Like everybody's talking about WrestleMania coming to Nashville into the new stadium. I want a Rumble. The Royal Rumble is like my favorite pay-per-view.
Isn't there one in 2 weeks?
Yeah, it's in where is it this year? Atlanta? I think it's in Atlanta.
Oh, is it?
Or no, that's not right.
At what point does everything just happen in
San
Vegas?
Antonio maybe. What's that?
At what point does every event just happen in Vegas? Is that what we're leading to eventually? They got the Super
Probably.
Bowl.
It's in Tampa, Tropicana Field. Thank you.
Okay.
Sorry.
I hope not.
No. I hope not either. I mean, I I've been to. I went to SummerSlam in Vegas, and then the next year it was here. It was cool in Vegas, but I had more fun here because it was outside and it was it was really fun. So I don't think everything needs to go to Vegas. The thing that the WWE is doing is they're sending a lot of stuff to other countries. Like they're doing a pay-per-view next month in Perth, Australia.
Oh, nice. By the way, that is the Australian name of the former program director of 102.5, Ryan Perth. That's where his family's from. They just Americanized his name when he came over.
I thought he was Amish. But with that, let's get to celebrity birthdays.
Yes.
How about that?
All right, time for Celebrity Birthdays, brought to you by Possibly You.
That's right.
What's your next part, Chase? Together at Cromwell.
Together at CromwellMedia.com. Sorry.
All right, here we go. First birthday up. Actor, director, the very talented Mario Van Peebles.
58.
73?
67. By the way, New Jack City was a fantastic movie back in the day.
Yeah.
Actor Chad Lowe, Rob Lowe's younger brother, who looks nothing like Rob Lowe, and I'm sure he's hated his parents his entire life for that.
Okay. 43.
I was going to say 44.
56.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly.
How old is Rob Lowe?
He can't be much older than that. By the way, is there more handsome man on the planet than Rob Lowe?
You.
Thank you. Actress Regina King.
What's something she's in? Can you give me a...
Some movies she's been in.
Okay, thanks.
Wait, was she in... she was in Boys in the Hood, right? Wasn't she his girlfriend?
Oh, yeah. Okay. 53.
56.
53 exactly. Boys in the Hood is a fantastic,
Great movie. It should be required viewing.
fantastic movie. Our guy we're going to see in Daytona next month, Pitbull. You better make it happen, Chase.
Dale. Pitbull is 48.
45.
He's 43. Good job, Dr. Crane.
Oh,
By the
wow.
way, Pitbull looks like Ryan Day with a bald head.
That's 2 Ryan Day references.
Because that beard is just so awful looking on him. Who is this? Don't know her. Let's go down. Singer Grace Vanderwall. Grace Vanderwall.
38.
41.
20.
Oh boy.
Good job, guys. All right. She was on SCTV. Actress Andrea Martin.
SCTV. I have no idea who this is, so I'm going to say 39.
61.
77.
Oh,
Nice.
Guitar player Adam Jones of Tool.
Tool coming to Nashville soon. 47.
42.
59.
This will probably be our last one, Joseph.
Okay. All right. Our last one. ED musician Skillrix. Skillrix. Skril. Skrillex. I don't. That's his name.
Skrillex?
Skrillex. There we go.
Skrillex.
Yeah.
I heard never mind. 49.
38.
36. Dr. Crane at the buzzer.
Bingo.
Nice.
Nice job with the putback. Well done. There we go, Dr. Crane. You win 2-1. Good job, everybody.
Congratulations, Dr. Crane. That is going to do it for us. Don't go anywhere. Caroline Willie and D-Mace coming up next. They'll keep you abreast of the weather and also the Titans coaching search.
Yeah, hey, as always, we love to have fun on the show, but more importantly, we care about you. And I know if you're out there feeling kind of blue and down, get on your cell phone, call 988. Always somebody there to talk to you as well. You can talk to us as well. We want you to know that you're not alone. It's okay not to feel okay. Just know that we love you, and you are irreplaceable for what God put you on this planet to do. So if you're having a tough time, just reach out to somebody. We're always here for you and let you know that you are amazingly loved.
Amen to that. Stay safe out there. Stay in if you can. And we'll talk to you tomorrow at 9, 102.5, 106.3, The Game.